Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Laureli Shimayo, and this is a MeWe Awakening panel for energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. Our theme tonight is Beltane Bonfires. We have probably 5 practitioners here tonight that will be sharing about our work, sharing a bit about Beltane, and then answering questions from the audience. We're able to answer questions on any topic, and the theme tonight is Beltane. So we'll have a chance to learn more about Beltane and see how the theme of Beltane might fit in with some of the questions that you all have tonight. We have been having these events online now over the last year and a half during the pandemic, and I've been running fairs online for about 2.5 years now. So it's a great opportunity for us all to be together in community and hold space together and grow together. I just deeply appreciate all of you being here for this. All right, well, let's go ahead and have our practitioners introduce themselves. So go ahead, practitioners, take like a good 3 minutes or so. You can talk about yourself, all your modalities, and feel free to talk about Beltane too. All right, who wants to go first? One of you want to jump in particular, or?
I'll go.
All right, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Rina-fay, and I am the River Witch Fairy. And I am a fairy shaman who works primarily with fairies and elemental beings in my healing work. And I typically dedicate most of my work to women and children. And with women, I help women reconnect to their magic when they are healing from trauma, from relationships, especially, and anything that they're going through in their love lives. And I help them reconnect with that divine goddess force inside of them. And I do that through connecting them back through nature, because the spirits of nature are ultimately the companions that I work with every day. And with children, I help them through their journeys where they already have such a great foundation in imagination and their heart instincts. I help them to stay connected to that as they grow and as they become conditioned to the real world, so that they can really lead and develop spiritual lives even as an adult. It's so important. And I have spoken with fairies since I was a very small child. And so I actually am a fairy soul myself, and I am a natural born May Queen, which means I was born on Beltane on May 1st. And I always knew that I was fairy, always communicated with fairies. And so when I do my readings, those are the beings that I speak with as well, to connect my information back to the client. And so I'm just very, very excited to be here with you guys tonight. This is my favorite Sabbath in the wheel of the year. It is a day of fairies and celebrating passion and creativity and fertility and just playful sexual energy. And so I just can't wait to share more with you about the fairies and what they're doing when the summer court of fairies returns on this day. So I'm so blessed to be here, and thank you so much.
Yay, thank you so much, River Witch Fairy. All right, who else wants to share and introduce themselves? Missy, Shift Witch, who wants to go? Okay, Shift Witch, go ahead.
Oh. We all jump in then. That's okay.
It's up to you.
Hello, everybody. I am the Shift Witch, and I absolutely love this time of year. Beltane is such a fun celebration. It is this midpoint between spring equinox and summer solstice. So at spring equinox, we're just inching into spring and starting to see the buds on the trees and all of that. When we hit Beltane, it's on. Like, everything is blooming. All that energy is just bursting forth from every direction. And it's a fantastic time to direct that energy towards what you want in life. What I do is I offer compassionate coaching, I offer energetic healing, I offer empowered movement in the forms of belly dancing, and yoga to help you make your life what you want it to be through the lens of loving yourself. That is my ultimate goal with my clients, is to love yourself as you are right now in this time, space, body, life, world, and to find your path in that space as well. So, and I do that, as I said, I'm a big earth mama, first of all, huge earth mama, talk to trees, elementals. I'm very connected to the earth, and that is how I actually do the healing I offer as well. And the coaching comes through years and years of experience of helping people move through very difficult situations in a very compassionate and loving way so that they can release what needs to be released and move forward with that self love and with that confidence to be who they want to be. I'm so glad you are here tonight to help us celebrate Beltane. I hope there is something creative that you have in mind moving forward from this holiday. And I look forward to answering your questions and getting to know you all a little bit better during the course of this evening. So thank you all so much. And thank you, Sharon, for interpreting everything tonight. It is very appreciated.
Great. Thank you so much, Shift Witch. And yes, thank you, Sharon. All right, Missy, and then we'll have Thorne go.
Great. Wow. It's tough to top that. I mean, this is really a great group of witches, of earth mamas, as you put it. It's beautiful to be here with all of you. I'm Missy, also known as Northern Sparrow. It's quite long, so I just put Missy on the box here today. I'll answer to anything. But what I do is I love to help people also to find their true selves. And for me, I'd look through the lens of witchcraft and Buddhism. So I found this wonderful tie between mindfulness and manifestation. And there's a lot of correlation and a lot of power in using these two modalities together. And through that, I also use tarot divination, art. As you can see, my Empress behind me here is one of my favorite recent paintings. And I teach people how to do meditations where you can reach in and be in that space with that deity or element. What I love about this time of year is also the energy that's around and the creativity in all of its forms. It's a beautiful time of the year just to watch the change in the plants and the animals. I grow a garden, so it's been just a treat to watch the sprouts now ready to be out in the sun and enjoying drinking in that beautiful energy. I'm just overwhelmed with how wonderful it is to be here with you all today to celebrate this. And I look forward to the questions, to seeing where these conversations go this evening. And if you feel like you need to reach out and talk about it, we'll talk about whatever it's on your mind tonight. And we'd love to get you moved forward and into the rest of the year. It's time for us to grow and reach for things. And this is the time of year to do it.
Thanks so much, Missy. All right, Thorne is next. Let's get Thorne up here pinned when they turn on your video camera. Thorne, are you okay? Whoops. Thorne went to the front. Maybe. All right, let me get you pinned. Okay, great.
Hello, everyone. This is a great night. My name is Thorne. That's my name sign. And so I'm ASL accessible in Magiky and readings. I tend to use tarot cards. I use runes. I'm led by fairies. I'm an energy healer. There's so many different kinds of modalities that I use. I work with both hearing and deaf clients, and so that's not a matter. Let's see. And so I'm really excited to be here today, and I look forward to working with you with this energy of the night of Beltane. It's one of my favorite holidays, really. And so I'm really looking forward to working with you all tonight in this energy. And so I also work with fairy energy, so I'd like to see how, see what shows up tonight. So, all right. See you guys tonight pretty soon. Thank you.
By the way, someone reminded me I have to not pin, I have to spotlight. So let me get us all in the spotlight now. Sorry, Thorne might have missed that because I didn't have it in the spotlight, Sharon. All right, all right, so people weren't seeing Thorne, but you can see Thorne now. I guess Thorne, sorry, Thorne, I'm sorry to do this, but could you introduce yourself again so that people weren't able to see you?
That's fine. So
Oh,
sure.
and introduce yourself and also talk about Beltane if you want. I didn't tell you about that before. So go ahead and share about Beltane more if you want as well.
Just a second, I need to spotlight him. Need to hang on a second. Sorry.
Yeah, some people saw Thorne and some people did not. So I'm not quite sure.
See. And so I'm trying to set it up with gallery view so I can, that's fine. Go ahead. Okay, so, and so I'll do it again. And so I'll do a short introduction. So my name is Thorne, and that's my name sign. And so good night, a good evening, everyone. And so I'm in Portland, Oregon, is where I work out of. And I work with tarot cards. I work with runes. I do energy healing, and so many different types of modalities. And I also work with astrology, and I'm guided by the fairies. And so Beltane is one of my favorite holidays. And so it's one of my favorite times of the year for sure. And so we celebrate the fiery energy. Fairies is creative, is abundance, fertility, lots of animals, a lot of people. It's an exciting time of year and a very exciting energy. And so let's see what else. And so some energies I'm going to work with tonight, definitely fairy energies. And so I look forward to sharing some of their messages with you tonight as we proceed. And so I'm really excited to be working with you all tonight.
Thanks so much, Thorne, for sharing again. Some people, yeah, I don't know why, but some people are having some trouble seeing everyone who's spotlighted. So if you're watching and you can only see one person, maybe change the view to gallery and see if it shows everyone that's spotlighted. I'm not sure what else to do for Zoom. And if there's anyone else here that wants to see the transcription, there's a new service that we have that's running that's transcribing everything. If you go to closed caption and click maybe show, I'm not sure, what does it say? It might say show subtitles. You can see at the bottom of the screen. Want to let you all know.
Yeah, it says show subtitle.
Okay,
if you
great.
click on that, it'll start to scroll up.
Great. We're just experimenting new things. So I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm also going to be sharing about my work on the panel. I'm an intuitive eye reader and a body psychology coach. I think that we all read eyes all the time. You can get a sense of that for yourself when you imagine meeting someone with dark sunglasses where you can't see their eyes. It's going to be frustrating. There's so much missing. And as soon as you see their eyes, there's so much there. I think that we all pick up that magical energy of who we are through our eyes, like eyes are a window to the soul. I use what I see in your eyes to read your soul, to help translate who you are, the gifts of who you are, with a set of archetypes called Thrive Types. My aim is to describe what you're naturally great at, what you value, your purpose, and to help you better understand you, value you, and to make choices that really honor you and get you on your soul's path. Also, we can use this to help you understand other people in your life. You can show me photos of people that you're interacting with now, and I can talk about them and you and interactions and ways that you can have more fun and dance energetically more together. Also, maybe there might be other people that would support you, different types of people, to this synergy with them also. And if you're single, I love to use this work for matchmaking. So eyes are also the window to your soulmates. So I'll be answering whatever questions tonight, in whatever way I can. I think of myself as a witch too, but it's not like a regular part maybe of my daily life, except that it's integrated maybe in all that I am, all that I do, but not as explicitly as so many others on the panel. I've always been connected to Wicca and just earth-based traditions. Yeah, so I love doing a panel with this theme and having this collection of practitioners here tonight. Anything else about me, I should say? I guess with the body psychology, it's really about awareness of just the body that we're in now and our soul being in our body. What are the messages that we get through our body, and how can we use that to be more present, to be more aware, to dance in a way that is more authentic to our nature. And we can utilize our bodies not only as a way of being aware, also a way of creating shifts whenever our energy feels stuck. So I may be sharing some of that with you tonight. Great. Let's see what else. Well, yeah, so that's me. Yeah, so we're here tonight to answer your questions. I guess practitioners, if there's anything else you want to share just about Beltane and fairies and anything you want to do in terms of setting the context of tonight. I know we shared a little bit in the opening on Facebook about like Beltane. Why do we celebrate? We talked about a little bit. Why do we celebrate Beltane? So like what is this time of year and why is it so important? And you all shared a little, but does anyone want to share a little bit more about that?
I just want to say real quick that this is a great time for play. If something comes to mind, an idea, a creative idea, whatever it is, just run it down, chase the rabbit, and jump in the hole with the rabbit. Just enjoy this time, because it's really a time to really try something new, and that the earth and the sun is supporting you in that. So and the fairy, they love this stuff. They love when stuff gets stirred up, and so just get out there and have fun and play.
Anyone else? Totally optional. Just want to have space for this, for the context. No. Go ahead, Thorne.
And so the fairies, they're really active in terms of waking up to play, and so they're connect with that energy tonight. And so it's possible during the weekend. I've noticed that as well.
Yeah, and it seems here where I live up in the foothills of Seattle. The plants are just so much at like this leaping, stretching, amazing growth, like right now. I mean, like they're growing inches a day. It's wild. Yeah. It's a great opportunity for our energies. How can we let ourselves grow that much? Oh, all right. Well, maybe let me set a little bit of the context for the questions tonight. So it's free to be here to listen and learn. We believe that like we hold the space all together, like we're all part of this. The inspiration of MeWe is not only metaphysics and wellness, it's really about each of us in our own journeys, right? So me and my own journey, and then we doing this all together as a community. We're able to expand and I think be more authentic and true in reflection and connection with each other. So tonight it's free to be here, and then it's a small price to ask a question of the panel. It's a sliding scale of $16 to $24 or $10 for BIPOC. You can pay by PayPal or Venmo, or if you need to, I can run something on my phone and Square. The information on how to do that's in the chat. We have one person in line with a question. Yeah, she's here, great. And I haven't looked at PayPal yet. We may have more people in line. And a few things before we start jumping into the questions. So You may ask a question, and we go deeper than you intend us to go here in this recorded public space that will be posted online, or we may start talking about areas of your life that you don't want us talking about here, and that's okay. Just let us know. Unmute and interrupt us, wave your hands so we get attention to you, write in the chat, anything to get our attention so that we honor you in the way that we answer tonight. We also think this is a great opportunity for you to learn from all that's asked and all that's shared. It's also a great place to open to your intuition, practice opening to your intuition, and that when someone asks a question, you may have things come through you. I recommend that you write it down because often like they float, they don't stay very long. And you can see, does what comes through you correlate with what the practitioners on the panel have to say? And you may have something come through you that's unique and totally valuable and valid. It's just something that someone doesn't happen to share, but it's a great chance to check in. Often the things that we have come through, like we see correlations with each other, and it's great fun. We have like different access points, right, to the same kind of thing. And please honor the space of the practitioners on the panel tonight. If something does come through for you, please hold it until we're done answering that person's question. And then if you want to, you can privately write them in chat and ask them if they'd like to hear what came through. And please honor whatever they share. They may be full after hearing the answers from us, and trust that it came through you for some other reason. Is that everything? I think maybe so. Yeah. So I invite you to play and have fun and dance with us tonight. All right. Well, let's see. So I know we've got a first question in line. Mary, if you want to go, you are all set to jump in. Let me go find you and I'll spotlight you with us. Oh yeah, to wait for your video camera to come on first and then I'll spotlight you. If you are ready, you can go first, and I will go looking in PayPal too to see if anyone else has jumped in to ask a question. And by the way, if you pay to ask a question, just also please write me in chat that you paid so I know and I can go get you in line. So honor the order in which people are leaping in. All right, we'll get into PayPal. Mary, did you want to go? It's up to you. If you want to wait, you can wait, but if you want to go, we are ready for you. So I'll ask you to unmute too. Possible you're not at your computer right now. All right, I'm going to log into PayPal here. There we go, getting in. And if anyone has any general questions about Beltane or fairies, we can answer those questions too. While we're waiting, go ahead and just write your question in the chat and we can jump in and do that. Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone else has paid yet. All right.
Actually, I was thinking if Rina wanted to talk more about what the summer court is, since she mentioned that.
Oh, yeah.
And some people may not know what that means.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah. So first of all, everyone, it's really interesting because I not only work but live my everyday life with two fairy companions. Their names are Winnie and Ama. And Winnie is the very blunt, very talkative one. So she usually brings through verbal information for me. And Ama usually gives me the physical and emotional and visual information. And actually, it's Ama who actually wants to speak tonight. And so I'm just going to let her come through. This is actually quite a rare thing for her, but I do believe it's Beltane that she's inspired by. So I want to just lead you guys through something real quick, okay? So bear with me because first of all, the fairies want everybody here on who's joining us tonight, practitioners included, to know that the summer court of fairies, as they're returning, they want to bring to us the gift of movement. And where we need movement the most, I'm being told, is actually through our vocal cords, through our throat chakra, and coming all the way up from our bellies. And so I just want to lead you through something really quick that's being guided by the fairies right now. And it is a belly through the throat laughing exercise. So if everyone can please just, if you want to do this, unmute your mics right now. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to, yes, everybody, let's unmute
Oh,
our
yeah.
mics, everyone.
I'm in there.
Okay.
This is it. Let's
Do it.
call it in.
Heck yeah.
Okay. This is green fairy light coming through. Now just breathe in through your sacral chakra, which is right in your belly. Imagine a big ball of green light and take a big deep breath in. I want to hear it.
Oh, yeah.
And as you exhale, we're going to laugh.
Oh, yeah, it's a party. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ama. Ama's just attuned us to the energy of the summer court this year. And so who the summer court of fairies are, they are opposite the winter court, and the winter court is in charge of fall and winter. So they create the cold breeze and the ice, but the summer court is in charge of spring and summer. And so they take down the sunlight as our days are becoming longer now. They take that sunlight and they transmute it and bring it down to reach our trees and our plants so that they can start to produce leaves again, and so that our seeds can start to germinate and our plants can come back, right? And the air fairies, who are part of the summer court, they now transition from creating that cold breeze into the warm breeze, right? And working with the fire fae to create that heat from the sun's light. And the summer court works to thaw out the bodies of water, and they work with the water beings to do that. And so all of the elementals who are a part of the summer court now start working together to transmute that sun to create our warm season. And on Beltane, they gather to do a grand march. And their grand march takes place between the evening before, which is Beltane Eve, usually when people light their Beltane, their balefires. And they march until the wee hours of the morning. And then all day on Beltane, they feast and they have this wonderful, wonderful party, like the biggest party that they have throughout the wheel of the year, with lots of dancing and drinking and celebrating and love making, right? And so with that comes a lot of mischief, and we, being here in the physical 3D, so close to them, you know, but separated by a veil, we definitely get brunt of a lot of that mischief, right? And so that's why you can read so many ancient folk tales about farmers taking precautions on Beltane, because the fairies are here and they're partying and they're up to no good, right? But ultimately, they're celebrating the start of their work season. And even though it has already begun, they have started. But really, this is a time when the light is really returning. And so they go by the lighting of the fires. we celebrate with bonfires, and their energy coincides with ours. And so once people start to light those bonfires, right, they know that it's time. And it's always been on May 1st. It's always been a day of fairies. I hope that that gives you guys some information about the summer court and what they're responsible in doing. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. All right. Well, and just I'm reaching out to Mary right now. She popped off the call, so just checking. But yeah, so we are open for a question, and I think we have a lot of people that are new tonight that might not have been here before, and it's great if you want to ask a question of the panel that you ask a more personal question. So keeping in mind that it's online, and it's just a great opportunity to get feedback from 5 of us, most likely all of us, about whatever your question is. Be anything about your life, anything that you're growing into. It could be about play and how play might show up more for you, what your blocks are to play, what your purpose is, right? It could be about anything, and we'll provide insight from all of our different perspectives. And again, any general questions about the day and what it is, or any of those kinds of things, we're happy to answer that too. Just while we're waiting for someone. You know, practitioners, if we don't have anyone in line, we can always sample with one of us too. Like if one of us has a question, we can always play with one of our questions too. So just all that's available.
Well, I'm
And I just
curious,
wanted-
Shiv, yeah,
Oh, go
go ahead. We said the same thing at the same time.
We're gonna do this all night. Just so you know, it's gonna happen all night with us. It's fine.
No, just listen, maybe we talk a bit about what we do on the day ourselves as practitioners.
Sure.
You know, something we love. I mean, I mentioned sitting out in my garden, you know, full sun on me, just allowing the butterflies, birds, plants, everything just to kind of melt into this net of energy that I know I can sit and play with and create this world that I want to live in with the with the spirits around me, the spirit of place, the spirit of our sisters of craft, and just really the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. You know, you just put it out there, and you know that the fae, the beasts, the birds, that they have your back. They'll figure it out for you. You just put that wish out there, and that's really what I like to do at this time of the year. So, Shift, which I would love to hear what you do, because you're a manifestation monster.
Thank you. I wanted to add too, like if things that you may have noticed, like anyone may have noticed, would be like if you have pets, they may be just extra crazy and energetic this last week and through next week. You may just notice the people around you when you're out are just a little more energetic. You may actually, even if you're not, or you don't think you are naturally empathic, you may pick up more on people, or feel people more, or for the first time, as far in your consciousness for your first time. And so those are all the things that you may be feeling. This is actually the flip side of Samhain. So whereas Samhain, that's Halloween time. So whereas that is leading into that going inwards, that closing of the year, this time of year is the exact opposite. It's an opening, everything is coming out, but the thing they have in common is it is still a time when what they call the veil is thin. So you have a greater access to spirit, to loved ones who have passed on, to ancestors. And so this is a fantastic time to connect. Whereas mainly in the Northern Hemisphere, we think of that just as Samhain. But this time of year also is a fantastic time to dip into that and to make those connections and make those contacts. The other thing you probably have all heard of at some point is a maypole dance. So that is something that is typically associated with Beltane or May Day. They also call it that, or Walpurgisnacht if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. And that is where you have the crown at the top of a pole, and there are ribbons hanging down from it, and you weave through the pole or weave around each other with the ribbons around the pole. Use your imagination. We all know what this is about. So with the bonfires, the other thing I wanted to mention with those was what they used to do was walk the animals through the smoke of the bonfires to encourage their fertility in the coming season. And then the young men and women would try to leap over the bonfire as well to get their own time in the smoke, so that they would also be fertile and have some happy fun times moving into this season. So it really is just like there's so much fun, there's so much play going on, and anything you felt creative about over this long winter when you have been being very internal about life, and even more so internal because of what's been going on in the world, this is the absolute perfect time to now flip that and put your energy and creativity out there and do those things that you got time to dream about during all of that inner space time. So
That's great. And you mentioned the veil. Does everyone know what the veil is? When the veil is thin.
okay, good question. So the veil is a term for the space between the land of the living, the three-dimensional realm where we exist every day and go to work and go to sleep and all that, and the metaphysical realm, four-dimensional realm, where our ancestors are, where other beings are at, where just all of what we consider, I guess the more common term might be like supernatural. And this is just a time where you can communicate a little easier, because if you think of it as okay, so blackout curtains make it very, very hard to let light in, but if you have some shears, it lets that light in even though it's still there. So if you think of this as this time of year, you have shears between you and the supernatural world versus blackout curtains. You just have the ability to feel things more. You may see things like ancestors or guides, or actually any number of things, fairies especially. You may have dreams that have to do with all of these different things. You may dream about family members that have passed or friends that have passed. You may get messages through dreams and things like that. It's just, you're just a little more open, even if you're not consciously aware of it. And that allows you to, if you have the intention to do so, consciously reach out as well now. So if you sit down and close your eyes and think about somebody you would like to contact, you can try to talk with them and get messages from them and things like that during this time. It's just made a little easier in general. Not that it can't be done all the time. It's just a little bit easier at this time of year and at Samhain. If that makes sense.
Great. Thanks. Now, was someone else going to jump in and share something? I wanted to give you an opportunity, and then also we do have someone in line for a question. So, but was someone going to share something else? So I'm going to cut you off. Okay, great. Well, maybe we will bring Beverly up for our first question of the night. All right, Beverly, are you ready?
Hi, thank you. Can you all hear me?
Sorry, I don't see you yet. Let me find where you are.
Oh, wait, but can you?
I'm looking through to find you. There you
Hi,
are.
I'm waiting.
Okay, great. Yeah, let me add you to the spotlight. Okay, great. You're on screen. Cool.
Okay, hear me okay? Because I don't have my headphone in.
Yep, we can see you and hear you.
Okay, so I don't have a strong connection with the fairies. I've just been introduced. It's so cool. And I recently got into foraging, and I've been thinking about, leaving like some of the plant, like 20% of the plant, and then I don't know every indigenous or endangered species, so I don't know what not to step on, and I'm just learning about foraging. So if there's any tips from the fairy realm on foraging from anyone, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Sorry, that last little bit went really quickly. Can you say that last little bit again?
If there's any tips from the fairy realm on foraging and anything, I wouldn't think of. Go ahead. Thank you.
Sure, that's great. All right. All right. Any tips on foraging? So you said you haven't connected very well with the fairies in the past.
No, I've just been introduced to the subject. I mean, not just, but I'm getting really interested as of the last few weeks.
It's great. My sense is that you have a lot of connection possibility here and a lot of connection that's already happening. So we'll see what everyone else senses and sees. So practitioners, if you have an answer you're ready to give, just raise your hand in chat so I know that you're ready, and I'll call on you. And and I can always share a little bit too while everyone's getting ready. Great. I say maybe also I'll just jump in and share a little bit. So Beverly, so my sense is that your talents and the way I read your eyes, you probably have artisan and priest, priestess, and scholar, and artisan and priest, priestess are generally both energetically sensitive. Artisan is sensitive to, particularly energy, but so it's ideas, creativity, freedom, pleasure. So those are all really important to you, is my guess. And then priest, priestess is about emotions. It's about seeing not only what's here and seeing what's possible and wanting to inspire and motivate people to stretch and reach for what's possible. And I think you have it second in your order of talents, which means that in addition to seeing how other people could grow, you tend to see for yourself how you could grow and you could get better and you could do more. And so you probably have a tendency to be a little harder on you than you are on other people. So I don't know if that resonates. So artisan and priest, priestess together are often the most intuitive. And when priest, priestess is second, people really want to be good on other people, good on the environment, good on in whatever way they're impacting. They really want it to be good. And it's just this very good quality of good, like just goodness. And I just do you very much artisan and priest, priestess, and artisan and server are some of the combinations that often most connect to fairy energy. And you just totally feel like you've got this in you. And I love that you're exploring and foraging, and the sensitivity of all the spaces around you and the exploration of new things, and kind of the magic of all that. I'm curious about where you are in the world. And the big thing I think is just to be aware that you care to be careful is important. And then increasing your senses and your capacity for noticing what's all around you. That's really the big opportunity of being out there in nature and noticing in all kinds of subtle ways. Letting yourself trust, like whatever you're like, that maybe there's something here. What are you picking up on? And letting yourself go explore and see what's true. That's really a way that everyone can open to their intuition. And I mean, foraging specifically, there might be the reasons why you're foraging. You could be foraging for food, or you could be foraging for herbs, or you could be foraging for play that you might have, more in the sense of all this. So I'll let the Shift Witch is ready, so I'll let her share, and that's a little bit from me. All right, go ahead, Shift Witch.
Yeah, so what I heard right away was stillness. That the foraging and the connections that you're just starting to feel are born through stillness. And obviously if you are doing it for food purposes, obviously that takes a lot of research and really having to know what it is you are consuming. But the connection to the Fae is all about stopping and just being in that moment. Even though you haven't consciously, or you don't think you have been making a connection when you are out in the world, when you are paying attention to the plants around you and learning about them. The Fae absolutely are observing you and are participating, and they are there with what is happening. I think all you really need to do if you want to connect with them is just find that stillness and close your eyes when you're out there. You're going to hear something more than see something. I'm trying to figure out what, but I can't get a clear answer of what exactly it is. But you're going to hear like singing or a bell or something. And it's going to seem super duper out of place. But that's the point, because that's how it's going to get your attention. And that's how you know that's how you're going to know that they are there with you and in support of what you're doing. So I hope that helps.
Thank you. Thank you both.
You are welcome. We've got Thorne in line, and then we've got Missy, and then you've got more answers coming. All right, Thorne, go ahead.
Hey, Beverly, hello. And so when you're talking about, I'm feeling in my intuition that I can kind of get a feeling of the edge of your energy. And so you definitely do have a deep connection. So you might not really think about it yet, and you might not know, but you are feeling that you definitely want to. So you really just need to trust yourself and let it happen. Keep an open mind, okay, with that. And so you will be able to connect with that realm. You just need to give yourself permission and to be safe, you know, make you feel safe and be open-minded about it. So I think I'm gonna pick 2 fairy cards for you right now. And so here's the first one. And so is Robin. Robin Goodfellow. Robin Goodfellow. And that's another name for Puck, you know, the name, okay. And so, and so the name Puck, P-U-C-K. And so he's a fairy for sure, and he's on the mischievous side. He's very playful. And he's got a pan kind of an energy, and so a nature earth spirit. And so you want to be careful because he is pretty mischievous, and it gets into trouble. And so you can kind of fall into that hole there and become stuck. And so you want to go ahead and accept that playful aspect. You do want to make sure that you uphold your personal boundaries, of course, with that. So and so maybe he can guide you and give you some options and insights of areas to explore. He can inspire that creativity in you, you know, and help guide you with the things you want to pick and harvest. That'll be an intuitive thing. And so you might get a nature book to help you understand more about the plants and trees and things like that, so you can have a deeper connection with that. And so, and if you look for a book in your area, and you can probably guide you with that, or you can borrow one from the library or from the internet, or you can go to a bookstore and look for the appropriate kind of books that will match your particular region. Okay, the second card I pulled for you is and so this is a fairy cow. A fairy cow. And so this is a very good sign for you. It means abundance. It's a sign of abundance for you. You know, it can be like, you know, milk and honey. It can be, you know, just abundance and creativity or expression or food, of social aspects, of community connections, relationship. And so it's a very sweet energy. And it's also associated with the number 5. And so as I look at it, you pick. And so number 5 is a spirit number. It's involved. It's a universal number, and so it's so it shows you that the universe's energy is supporting you in this, and you know, just use your intuition, trust your intuition, and enjoy the process. You know, you can let that the fairies will guide you. You know, because they're very curious, and it'll be involving a energy of curiosity. Let's see. And so I think that's it for now. And so go ahead and play with it, you know, and exercise your curiosity. And, you know, it's going to be a little bit of a wild energy involved, you know, but that's all right. Okay. And so I'm hoping that helps you in general. So
Thank you, Thorne. I appreciate it.
Great. Thanks so much, Thorne. All right, we've got Missy and then the River Witch Fairy. Go ahead, Missy.
Yeah, I just wanted to, this is really beautiful energy today. I just want to ride off of this this energy about Puck. I also felt that this playing with the world at this time of the year, you're going to be able to find some really interesting things, you know, out there. And in foraging, I haven't done much of that myself. I have, you know, gotten local herbs and stuff from people just in my neighborhood, you know, with that, getting something that's right nearby. But one thing that might help with channeling that energy of Puck and just being curious. I mean, also, I think that the stillness came through for me that the shift witch mentioned, but it was more like in study. And so maybe that ties in with your research on herbalism, on local plants and things. But something you could do to help channel that energy and let Puck just kind of lead you through is to do an omen walk. So when you feel like, oh, I want to go do some foraging, before you step outside, just burn some sage or lavender, dried lavender, in a circle 3 times around your doorway, and just be open to wherever you're going to be guided to. You know, if you feel this pull to go left versus right, then just go and see where that energy takes you, and see what you can discover through that ritual. So I just wanted to throw that out there for you. I'm excited for you. I think you are more open than you than you think you are, and I think that they've been guiding you a lot longer than perhaps you've noticed, and now you'll really start to notice it and have fun with it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Missy. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sorry, Beverly, did you want to say any more about that?
Well, when you say, by the way, Missy, that you get herbs from your neighbors sometimes, that is foraging. That's so cool. That's a form of eating wild. Great. And I love the tip for standing in the doorway and going, wait, did you say counterclockwise or clockwise?
Yeah, when you're going out, you're going to do clockwise. And then if you come back, if you want to close that portal, you'd go the other way and just close it off. being grateful for what you've been shown as you've been out on your walk. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I used, one of the things I used was there's an app next door, right? And so I just put it like, hey, I want to make a bunch of smudging and dried herbs. And here in Portland, my goodness, rosemary, sage, lavender, it just grows like weeds here. And so I just kind of reached out to the community and people got back to me. And that's one way that you can kind of learn, yeah, the spirit of place, really.
Great tips. Thank you.
Great. All right. And the River Witch Fairy is next.
Yeah. So, woo, exciting stuff here with you, Bev. Definitely deep and potent energy that very much resonates to me on the same level. And so I wanted to go last because first of all, you definitely don't give yourself enough credit. And I also found that interesting because Laureli, through reading your eyes, did point out something along those lines as well, where I feel like you do tend to be quite hard on yourself. And so with that has kind of come sort of like a block or a blindfold, if you will, over your own eyes as you look at yourself through the mirror and seeing who you truly are and feeling who you truly are, because you, my dear, are a fairy soul. You are fairy. And I am too. And Thorne, who is with us, is also a fairy soul. And you are as well. And so I'm reminded of a time, and I believe it was on one of these panels on a different subject, where a woman who was fairy had a very similar question to you, or a very similar feeling as you. And she said that she didn't, she was looking to connect with fairies and didn't know how to connect with them, and didn't realize that she'd been connecting with them all this time. And my dear, that is why you're so passionate about learning plant medicine, because you are being guided by the fairies. And so I want you to maybe make a little list of some key spiritual events that have taken place in your life over the last month or so, and see how the fairies have possibly been guiding you, because they are such a deep, strong energy in your life right now. And the reason why you're so passionate about foraging and getting closer to the plants is because that blindfold that you have over who you really are, your soul's true lineage, that blindfold is starting to be wiped away. And I don't think it's a coincidence either that we're coming up on Beltane, right? So fairies are really getting closer to us. We're feeling their connection stronger. And so they're able to guide us a little bit easier right now. So Ama, she's here, and again, because she wanted to speak tonight, which I think is so cool. And Ama's saying, Beverly, if you want to know the plants and you want to know them medicinally, dedicate yourself to learning their ways, not just energetically, but their physical attributes as well, because you are very open and you are very high vibrational, and there's this huge level of excitement that I feel right now. And so with that, just like the shift witch said, you want to make sure that you're being careful and you're being safe in how you're learning as well. Because if we think about the world of fairy, right, they're the nature spirits, and so they are the spirits that are inhabiting the plants. And we know that in the world of fairy, there's light and there's dark, okay? And that corresponds to the plants themselves. There are good plants, and there are also dark plants out there that you want to know very well, just as much as you want to know the plants that are good for you. So being safe is important. And I think that you should call out to Ama just corrected me. Ama said that you don't need to call out for a teacher. Right now, you're already on the path of being led to a great teacher. Invest in your journey with the plants. If it's truly what you want, invest in being guided by a great teacher. Invest in joining like other women's circles who can explore and share plant wisdom. Connect to others. You know, it's so important that we have our solitary time in connecting directly with the plants and learning them, but it's equally as important with this medicine to learn with a tribe and to learn with other wisdom keepers. And I also think that that's an important part of truly making sure that we are obtaining the right knowledge and being safe as well. So enjoy your journey, fairy soul. Thank you.
Yay. To practitioners, if there's anything else you want to share, go ahead and jump in. Or Beverly, if there's anything you want to share in response.
Well, I just wanted to jump in real quick. I mean, you had mentioned the teacher, River Witch, and I mean, this card of Puck, I mean, really, who better to take you by the hand and teach you the world, right?
Great, it's great. Yep. Go ahead, Beverly.
Well, I don't know anything about that, but it seems like, is that a name from a Midsummer Night's Dream?
Sorry, we're having.
Beverly, we can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you if you're wanting to share something. It might have been background noise. We're not sure.
Well, thank you for reminding me about Puck, because I need to do research for sure.
Nope. Well, thanks so much for your question. It was lovely to be able to share with you. And a lovely, great question. And I hope you feel inspired and trust yourself more. All right. I don't know if anyone else has asked a question yet. I don't think I've seen anything else. We did get a great general question from someone, which I'll bring up in a moment. I'm just double checking to see if anyone else has asked a question first. Aylin, sorry, 1 second. So the question is, what are some common misperceptions or misunderstandings about the fairy realm? That seems like a great question while we're looking for another question. I'm trying to see if my dog will go outside with my partner, but my dear dog is so connected to me. Like, come on, go, go. The door's open for him. Oh, misperceptions. That's great. Yeah, what are misperceptions? I guess I could say like, so in many ways, I'm sort of a stereotype of like not sensitive person at all. Like I'm a scientist, I'm very practical, kind of abrupt in some ways, you know, historically, maybe sometimes still. And but I'd get in some spaces in nature and it just felt really precious and magical. And I didn't know what it was about. And it was not until I finally connected with someone else that's all connected to the fairies that she helped me understand what it was that I was sensing and noticing. And there's just all sorts of places where I can sense that that's there. And yeah, there are other ways that I'm emotionally sensitive. Clearly, I'm sensitive, observing all kinds of things about people and energy. But this is an awareness that I had before I realized that I was open in these other ways. So I guess a misperception maybe is that only, well, some people think it's just imaginary, and it's not. Yeah. What else do you all want to share? Common misperceptions or misunderstandings?
I think one of the most basic ones is that they're either all good or all bad, quote unquote. Like that's one of the ones that I've personally encountered the most, is that, well, don't they all trick you and steal your children and do things like that? And I'm like, no. And then you have like the complete pendulum swing to the other side of where it's almost fairy godmother's like, well, don't they just grant wishes and give you candy and stuff? And I'm like, what? They're a full spectrum, just like humans. So that's one of the, like, I'd say that's one of the biggest misconceptions that I've heard and hear continuously.
That's good. That's good. That had me laughing because that is such a big misconception. And so kind of going off of that, God, I can think of so many misconceptions, but one of them I think that's really big too is that fairies all have wings and are little and fly. And that's not true at all, just because media, and cartoons and Disney perceives them that way, just like they have perceived, witches to be old and haggardy and green with big noses, right? They all movies also perceive fairies to be these little tiny Tinkerbell creatures. And some of them are, but that's honestly such a very, very small percentage of the fairy realm that is like that. It's mostly air sylphs, and creatures like that, and some flower fairies as well. But there are some fairies that are very large. There are some fairies that are human size. Elves are quite tall. They're human size and tall, and they don't have wings. And we have trolls and stone spirits, and they're very large and often not very nice. And so fairies can be really scary too, and that's why I teach like fairy safety as well. So that's another misconception that I can think of, is that oftentimes, especially when people are connecting to real fairies, they maybe feel as though all of the fairies are safe to just completely open up to. And, I tell people they are spirits. You're connecting with spirit when you're connecting with fairies. And so when it comes to connecting with spirits of the dead, you're going to be careful with that too, right? So if you're cautious about that and stating your intentions and protecting your space when you connect with the dead, do the same thing when you connect with fairies. Just like people, we all walk this earth, and some of us are pure of heart, and some of us are pure in heart and still do bad things and make mistakes, right? And fairies are the same way. So you have to just be careful when connecting with them. So that's a big misconception too, is that all of them are good to just completely open up to. And I think that it's just perceive with caution, just like you do when you proceed with connecting with people that you don't know. It goes the same way, right?
One quick thing I want to jump in before Thorne goes is I realized the very first science project that I did, I was a scientist long ago, is totally connected with fairy energy. I worked with hummingbird pollinated flower mites. So these are little itty bitty tiny mites that live in flowers, that get from flower to flower by running up the bill of a hummingbird, sitting in its nostril while it flies around, goes to another flower, and they run back out. So yeah, like the things in nature that we have no idea are here.
wild.
I know, totally wild. All right, Lauren, go ahead.
And so I fully agree what was just said about a river witch fairy. And so there's a lot of misunderstandings and confusions. They think that they're all very tiny and cute and sweet. That's not the case. There's so many different kinds, shapes, sizes, widths, heights. And so a lot of people, they think that they all have wings. No, that's not so. And so some of them do and some of them do not. And some move in different ways and some are connected. So for, they will show up in different ways. And so some fairies prefer to work behind the scenes and other ones are obvious. They're just right out there and will show you the way. And so it depends on which kind of, the situation that you find yourself in, how you connect with them, who you connect with them and for why. And so I agree with, and so, and so, yeah, you're not going to want to, invite all of any kind of fairy to your world. You want to, make sure you set up protections and you want to. And so if you're new at connecting with the fairies like that, and so, you might come up with them a fair, a playful one, and they will invite you to play. And if you're the kind of person who is a very serious and kind of regimented and very um, um, structured person, that's not going to work. And so, you want to, be able to, respond to the correct type of, depending on the situation there. And so, you also want to have your boundaries, have clear boundaries. Why are you calling on them? And so, for instance, Beltane, there's a lot of playful energy connected to this time of year. And so there's a lot of, playfulness, lightness, sunlight. And so, you want to be able to focus on a higher vibration, same as you might be with a human. You want to be able to, be aware of and be able to kind of control that energy and find that balance. And so, yeah, I encourage you to, have fun with it and all, but make sure you know that, the, limits of your human body. Make sure you feed yourself, take care of your needs and things like that. And, it's most important to find your balance. And so I just wanted to share that tidbit with you.
Great, thank you. All right. Any others we can think of? Maybe I just like where we find them. There might be some themes and where they tend to be found, but they really are all over potentially. You speak to that too. But the place where I tend to notice them the most is like pockets of trees. Like there tend to be like a round of trees. That's where I personally am most sensitive to. But yeah, to them, but anywhere. Yeah.
The first place I ever saw them but didn't know it at the time was in my bedroom as a child. They loved to play around on my ceiling, and I would just lay in bed and just watch them. I had no idea what I was watching then. It was just really pretty and fun to watch. So you may have seen them just in your own home at this point, but not even realize it.
All right. Maybe I'll mention too, the text that we had at the bottom seemed to stop. It seemed to get stuck. Oh, wait, it just all of a sudden jumped in and a whole bunch went through. All right, it's in there. It's a new service. We're checking it out.
I think some brownies got caught in the cogs and they just got those cleaned out, and it's all running again.
Those tricky fairies are playing.
Oh, what does this button do?
All right, well, we have space to answer another question. If anyone has a question, it might be on the theme of the panel and it might be something completely different. And we will bring our, whoa, a whole bunch more words went through, fairy-ish energy to answer the question. Tuning forks. There are fairies that love it when you activate the forks. Hee 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 hee.
You know, I notice this because I do a lot of meditation, and so I have several different singing bowls and chimes and things, and we also have a couple tongue drums, you know, and you can just feel them dancing. You can almost hear tap dancing, you know, with any sort of music or vibration that's in a tone of something. It just gets them all stirred up, and they just enjoy the heck out of it.
Oh, tongue drums are an instrument of the fairies for sure. And I know that because anytime I'm somewhere and somebody has a tongue drum, I just go so wild over it. And if you give me one of those, because I actually have I have a mini one that my sister gave me, but I actually haven't gotten a full regular size one yet. But if you give me one of those things, I will just play for hours and I will just tune everybody out. So that is definitely an instrument of the fairies, as well as singing bowls too. And even just simple wind chimes. This is the perfect season to get your wind chimes out now. And oh man, I could just listen to wind chimes all day because it sounds, to me, it sounds like the vibration of glitter, of fairy dust.
I love that description, the vibration of glitter. That was the best.
Yeah, I agree. I'm writing that one down. That's good.
Yeah, that's right. Someone like you would come up with, right? These words would come through you. This is great. Well, yeah, I would encourage you if anyone has a question. And so we all can answer our own questions too, if we don't have questions coming in, just as a demonstration of like what we do.
Well, I'm curious, what are some things that, yeah, River Witch, Thorne, Shift Witch, Laureli, what do you guys use as far as ritual for Beltane? Like, you know, are you burning, you know, what are you putting in the fire, you know, as far as herbs, messages, things like that? I'm just, yeah, curious what you guys do for your rituals.
So I usually, if it's not raining, I start my festivities with lighting a bale fire the evening before. And I will a lot of times dance around the fire. And you know, every year I do it a little bit differently. Sometimes I, you know, host like a big, like a public thing and invite everyone. That's definitely not the case this year. That's not happening, especially with the pandemic. But I just kind of feel it out. You know, I've always felt out whether I want to open up my circle or if I just want to have something more private amongst just family and friends. So I'll dance around the fire the night before. And as far as throwing things into the fire, my offerings are usually fresh flowers, or I make these really beautiful, I call them smudge wands, because they're not really sticks. They're like these big, beautiful arrangements with large flowers, sometimes sunflowers and roses and things like that. And so I might offer something like that to them. Yeah, or some of my fresh flowers, like Lorelai's showing. And I always pour them a little drink, a little bit of wine, and a little bit of cake, like cakes and ale. And you can actually either leave that out for them somewhere during the night, or by your windowsill or doorstep, wherever, or you could throw it directly into the fire and give it to the fire fairies too. And so on Beltane morning, early in the morning, I will set my alarm very early at dawn and get outside and go and check my little mason jar. I'll leave a mason jar out overnight, and I'll usually leave it under a plant that has leaves hanging over or something, so that I can collect the dew in the little jar that drips off of the leaves. Because the dew, if you're able to catch dew on May Day, depending on the weather, you're not always able to catch it. But if you're able to catch a little bit of dew from the dawn of Beltane morning, you can, even if it's just a couple drops, that's all you need. Mix that into some distilled water and preserve it if you like, or put it into just a facial mist, however you want to use it. But that stuff is so potent. It's said to be the fairy remedy of eternal youth. So that's always a tradition that I try to do. I try to stick my jar out under a plant so I can see if there's dew to collect in the early dawn hours. And then I do a maypole dance. I used to live on a farm in Rumford, Maine. I'm now living like about an hour and a half from that farm. And so I'm still going there for Beltane. And because I had this amazing maypole put up there a few years ago, and it's like about 15, 20 feet tall. And I had it done really nicely. And so we always cut ribbon to add to the maypole every year and do a traditional maypole dance. Again, it's just going to be really casual this year, just with my boyfriend and just a few close family members gathering, because it's also my birthday. So we do that, and I will do a ritual. How I do my Beltane ritual is, again, different every year. And I kind of really tune into the fairies and listen to, what materials they want me to gather for my ritual. Kind of tune into what sort of message I want to hone in and convey during my ritual, because that differs every year a little bit too. And, to kind of really tune into my intuition with that, I look at what feelings are coming up for me and what's going on in my life currently. So I encourage everybody to, really look at what feelings are coming up for them at this time, to understand what the Fae wants you to learn for Beltane as well. Or Emma corrected me again. Sorry, Emma. She said, no, you tune into your emotions and what's going on in your life to understand the gifts that the fairies have for you for Beltane this year. And sometimes that is letting go. Sometimes it's bringing new things in. Sometimes it's healing work that has to be done. But no matter what it is, there's always magic to it, right? So the other thing is to really pay attention to what flowers you're really drawn to this time of year as well, because each of those flowers has a meaning, and each of those flowers is a different spirit of fairy that wants to connect with you, right? So just when you're perusing in the garden centers or in the grocery store, really pay attention to the kinds of flowers that you're really drawn to. And by all means, pick them up and incorporate them into your Beltane rituals as well. But it doesn't have to be a huge thing. You don't need to go and join a maypole dance. You can make your own crafts with different colored ribbons. You can make your own flower crowns and do activities solitary, or you can choose to do it with, you know, another loved one. The biggest ritual, and Winnie just chimed in, she pushed Ama out of the way for this, and Ama was just rolling her eyes at her. But Winnie says the biggest ritual on Beltane is to make love, everyone, and you don't need a partner to do that. You can do it with yourself too. So those are my interpretations for Beltane rituals. They're
That's
personal.
great. So fun. I want to, I think Missy's got to take off, so I want to give her a chance to introduce herself again. So yeah, just go ahead, say who you are, what you do, and give us your contact info in case people watching the video want to reach out to you.
Great. Yeah, sorry I have to bow out real quick. It was wonderful to be here with all of you, and I wish you just the most beautiful and magical of all Beltanes coming up here soon. It's just going to be earth-shaking. Let's make it earth-shaking, you know. Let's bust things open for goodness, joy, and love in this world. Yeah, just briefly, I'm Missy. You can find me at thesunshinemoment.com. I would love to, yeah, just help anyone who's looking to find a way to really get manifestation kicked off in their life. And yeah, this has been really wonderful. And I thank all of my sisters and Thorne and all of you, just wonderful, beautiful, beautiful people. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Missy. It's been great having you. And it's great.
Thank
Whoops.
you.
I did something weird on my screen. All right.
Thank you, Missy. So
Thank
blessed
you
to
so
be on
much.
this panel with you. Blessed Beltane.
All right, let's see. So we were in the middle of sharing a bit. I know Thorne's got something to share. All right, Thorne, go ahead.
So for Beltane ritual, and so every year looks different for me. And so with this year with COVID, and so maybe we're not going to be getting together. Darn it, that's kind of sad. However, I think this week, and so before May 1st, I'm thinking, you know, then maybe tomorrow or something like that. And so having a small fire, and I want to have things, you know, ready, things that I'm ready to release, you know, kiss them goodbye, you know, the old year issue stuff I'm just ready to get rid of. And then on Saturday, and Sunday, maybe that I will have maybe a friend, you know, safely distanced, and we'll have the fire. And, you know, we'll welcome in the new things, you know, herbs, and, you know, just to kind of welcome in new things at this time, you know, and chat and connect, and, you know, connect via that way. And so, yeah, so every year is different. And so my favorite thing is to I'm sorry, I'm trying to so can you say that again? So soda, make soda bread. I got you. So my favorite thing is to make soda bread. And so that's been a tradition for a very long time. And so that's kind of my favorite thing. And so that I associate with that with my Beltane ritual. So we'll see how my energy levels are, and you know, if I have the fire, I might use a little candle, and just, you know, a little small thing, you know, and working with the fairies. So every year does look different, and so, you know, we'll see how the energy knits together, and how that's going to look. And so, yeah, we'll see how that turns out. And so I just wanted to give you a really short tidbit there.
Yeah, that was great. I was definitely thinking about cleansing and like burning things that I'm releasing. Just Yeah, that's definitely what was present for me. Let's see, just another question, a couple other questions that came in. One person asked, do you work with more than one spirit at a time? So, I mean, so for example, River Witch Fairy, you have two that you're connecting with right now, right? That were just in the way they were speaking to you, that was influencing things. So I would say yes, more than one. And then anyone else want to say anything about that? I guess Steve.
That's you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, my brother is always, always, always connected with me. And he is very much a fae, and he's hysterical, and I love him so much. So he's always there in the background, no matter. Oh my goodness, sorry, my cat is telling you this time of year. I don't know what's happening behind me. Please don't wreck things. Love you. Okay. But I'm always connected with him. One of the other people, or not people, one of the other goddesses that I very regularly connect with is the Morgan. And then depending on honestly what is going on at the time, what event I'm in, what topic it happens to be, and things like that, I can connect to other deities, other goddesses, other fae, things like that. And there are some times where I get like part of an answer from one and then a completion of the thought from the other. So if you've ever seen somebody answering a question and they're they look like they're waiting, or like earlier when I kind of closed my eyes and I was listening, it's because there was like multiple answers happening, and you have to sort of sort through and clear it up so that you can then say it and sound articulate when you're then saying it after you've gotten a lot of different messages in your head. So yes, yes you can. Short answer, yes.
All right, Thorne, go ahead.
So I have a tendency to work with, it depends on the time, it depends on the location, depends on the energy. And so I might connect with for a moment. And so for like a house of magic, and so there's generally a being that I work with, and then when I'm finished working with them, I'll connect with a different being. And so I work with lots of different beings in a magical sense, never at the same time though, but sometimes they can conflict with each other. And so you need to know which one to kind of be with at any particular time, and if it's connecting well with the other one, that's good. Sometimes I might work with this a couple at the same time, but sometimes they don't necessarily work together. And so historically, you know you want to kind of research about what they're connected with, who they are, where they're from, that kind of thing. And you want, each one has its own history. And so you don't, you kind of want to do your research before you just kind of, do anything like that. And so, you don't want to just connect with any old body. And so I tend to have a really strong connection with with Irish energy, with Irish deities. And so they tend to really show up very strongly for me. And so just wanted to put that out there.
Great. Let's see, and so funny. I guess I'm not aware of who I work with, and I say that when I sense them, though, I usually tend to sense them as a group. It's me. And so a slightly different question. It's more of just when am I aware of them? Yeah. So maybe for me, like maybe there's a way that I am less sensitive. And so having the energy of the group, I'm more perceptive of that. Well, here's another question. And if someone has a question for the panel and wants to ask a question, a personal question of the panel, that's let us know. That's a priority. So one question was, fairies clearly are earthy. Do they have any relationship with star tribes, like intergalactic beings? Kind of interesting, like that energy wound in with Earth. And there might not be anyone on the panel that specifically has experience with that. I can imagine that there is so. Just if any of us want to share that. Yeah.
I've worked with both separately. So, okay, so by the way, this is Beetlejuice. He really likes fairs. And he also really loves to orbit my head. So, apologies.
Yeah, he
If
shows
my
up at our
face
events a lot.
disappears,
Yeah, he likes them.
yes, this is his favorite place to be, is at Lorelai's events now. He's like, "What? How you doing?" So I have collected. I have connected with galactics and I have connected with Fae, but I honestly don't. I honestly don't know the answer to that because I've never even thought of it, for one thing. Um, hmm, that's actually a really, really excellent question. I'm I'm thinking I'm thinking that, when you're talking about um like water galactics and water fae, there's probably some sort of connection. When you're talking about the elements, when you're talking about like actual elemental connections, um I'm sure there's connections. I'm just not entirely sure what they are. So sorry for not answering that, but yeah.
I can jump in here. I apologize. I was just typing a little info in the chat. So the question is, are the fairy beings connected
To the
with
galactic
the
beings.
stars?
Yeah.
Galactic beings. Okay. Yeah. So I don't do personally, I don't do a lot of work with galactic beings, but I am a fairy soul, and I can tell you that I am also very connected and knowledgeable in astrology, and I've always had a connection with the stars. And so my personal take on that is, as far as the stars and cosmic energy go, fairies are directly connected, directly. And that is because we have, first of all, the elementals, who are fairy beings of one purebred element, whether that's earth, air, fire, or water. And then so many other fairy beings who are mixtures of different elements, right? And the elements are directly connected to the planets, right? Now we know this from astrology. And so with plants, I also study astroherbalism. And astroherbalism is the planetary correspondences of the plants. So some plants are, for example, nettles is a Mars plant, right? It's hot, and it's fiery. So when we look at the elemental connections of the fairies, we can almost correspond them to certain astrological signs or certain planets. And the same thing with the plants that they represent, right? Those spiritual beings of those plants have the elemental and the planetary correspondences. So again, I know it doesn't pertain exactly to the galactic beings, but that is a direct connection there. Hope that makes sense.
That's great. And I know Thorne's got something to say, and then a variation of the question that came in is, would an incarnated star being have trouble connecting with fairy realm? So yeah, no, but no trouble.
Oh no, not at all. Again, that's a direct line right there.
Yeah. All right, Thorne, go ahead.
So first off, and so river fairy, and so the elements, earth, fire, air, water, all of those groups, you find them. And so you have also the mixture. And so in my experience, so, you know, there's definitely a connection. You know, you have different kinds of fairies, like cloud fairies, you have star fairies, different things like that. And so you have the elemental group, that means they're and so I don't have direct experience with things outside of that realm. And so for instance, we have you know, you can have fairies from other galaxies. And so they may or may not have a connection in that. So I'm sorry, having a hard time seeing. And so, okay, so go ahead. And so a person who has starseed energy, and so would they have a problem being connecting with fairies? No, they wouldn't. That there's definitely a connection with that. And so there's not a problem with the starseed connecting with the fairy realms. You know, so if you're able to figure out your, you know, your energetic, your vibration, you know, things like that, make it work out, you know, yeah, you can, you know, go for it. That's perfect. So there shouldn't be a problem at all with that. And the same idea is, so, you know, in nature, so you have the trees, you have the plants, flowers, all of these different things, you know, they all have their own kind of spirit connected with them. And so it's a, you know, in general. And so the point is, how would you connect with them? You know, so would you be open or close to that idea? You know, with the tree, you have like a firm boundary there, you know exactly where the tree begins and ends. And so, you know, so you know, you might have a strong connection with flowers, you know, you can, you know, approach it from, you know, ways like that. And so different people have different ways of connecting, you know, having a connection with things like that. So it's really important for you to kind of analyze your own self, your energy, your intuition, you know, your energy processes, and, you know, see how that will work out for you. And so you know, using your knowledge and study will definitely help you. So anyway, hope that little bit of information helped you out there.
Great, thank you. All right. I know one of our practitioners that came to mind in particular is, well, say Galactic Ashley, and I totally imagine that she would connect really well with fairies. So that was part of where I was like, oh, it can't be a problem. Yeah. All right, let's see. Well, so practitioners, just do we have any questions that we want to ask ourselves while we're here? And I'm open, and we can always finish a little early today too. I'm open to how this goes.
Actually, I wanted to share one of the things I did last Beltane, just that it might give other people sort of an idea. So I have, oh God, some of it's falling apart a little bit, but I have this little, I just had a little
Bring it a little
box,
closer to the
and I
camera if you can. Yeah, great.
took flower petals and seeds and different things and actually hot glued it to the top to, sorry, to symbolize, you know, this time of year with everything growing, and that the things inside were things that I was planting to move forward with and that I wanted to bloom. And then inside, there's all different things that I wanted to come to fruition in the next year. So, you know, some things I literally just wrote on a piece of paper and put inside. Some things were a little more symbolic that I put inside crystals and things like that. But this is a nice little time capsule type way to create something to help remind you every time you see it of all of those intentions and things that you made at that very important forward movement time of year. Especially helpful to look at them when you move into the more internal time of year to help keep you going. So I just wanted to share that. My poor little one's falling off the bottom here. But yeah, so that's just an idea as well for something you can do.
That's great. Thank you. Cool. Maybe is it all right? I'll go ahead and ask just a question. It's fine to do just really brief answers. This doesn't just, my girlfriend and I are getting ready to move in with each other. And we're both like, do we do it? Do we not do it? We're like, do we move into, so we live in 2 log cabins on 7 acres. So she's in the big log cabin and I'm in the small log cabin. I know, I'm like, I couldn't imagine anything like more beautiful. So I'm in the first log cabin that was built on the property, and it's this quirky, weird log cabin. It's this beautiful little window, like it, you know, made out of a burl of a tree, like it's just amazing stuff in this cabin. So we're talking about moving over into her bigger cabin, and she's got a big upstairs that's open, and so I'll be in this big loft upstairs, and it's just this dance, like we're both so independent, we so much have our own space and do things our own way, and we're like this dance of like, how do we do all this together? So we know that the dogs, like the dogs and the cat, like they're gonna love being all together, and we want to be together and we want our space, and we're like, oh. So anyway, just anything the fairies want to say about this is great.
Oh gosh, what I heard right away is that one place is for your work and one place is going to be for your play. Like the life you build together, but then it's going to be, the other one will just naturally morph into the place where you do things in support of that. So the word work was just like the easiest way to describe that, but it's going to be the place where you do things in support of the place where you get to play and live your life. So that's what I got right away.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool, great, thank you. I guess go ahead. Let's see. So Thorns first and then River Witch Fairy afterwards. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm feeling like, yeah, that'll be a good move for you to go in together. It's worth knowing, you know, to have your boundaries naturally, and at the same time, like what Shift Witch was saying, and so, you know, you'll have a space where you can play, and, you know, and you can express yourself, do your work and things like that, and then the other part will be like your heath, you know, like where you guys would, you know, kind of merge your energies. You know, you know, you both have different skills and you can kind of merge them as you make your life together, you know, and naturally. And so I really feel like that's the way to go. And so you want to trust that process for sure. And, you know, and if it happens, you feel a little bit of anxiety about it, you want to stop that and you want to pay attention to your gut, you know, and you talk about it together, you know, check into that, how you're feeling, and you know, but I really think it'll be a good thing to do. So for sure.
Thank you. We're looking for a photo. Yeah, okay, go ahead, River Witch Fairy. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's awesome, Lorelei. I took a similar step, as you know, about 6 months ago. And so very practical advice from the fairies on this one. And that is to judge the spaces that you're looking to move into accordingly. And that is going to be making sure that there is enough room in the space for you both to have your own separate spaces for whatever you guys like to do, whether that's your work or your art. I don't know if your partner does art. Okay, because they were talking to me about like an art room or crafts or something like that. But because you're both so independent, it's really important that you both each have that space and you have your shared space together. So you're going to really want to make sure that the place that you're moving into can offer that, and that it's not going to be too small and too crowded. For example, I mean, the place that I'm living with my partner is small, but I'm really the only one who's working from home and working on a big passion from home. So I really we just needed one extra room for an office space, but you both really have your own things going on at home, I feel like. So you're going to need more space than that. And so judge that accordingly. And also don't give in to pressures from other people about how you use your space in your relationship and about how you create personal space in your relationship, because I feel like there's a lot of voices or opinions around you that are telling you, well, you're moving in together. Like, if you guys are living together, then then you should be ready to do it all together. And if you're not ready to do that, then don't move in together. And that's just BS. So just totally tune out those opinions, because those are coming from people that don't understand independently creative people. Okay, so forget about that and just do it your way. Do it your way. It's your lives and it's your life together.
Oh, it's great. Thank you. Yeah, all these answers, like, this is so true. So her upstairs is fairly big. I just started to do a floor plan so I can like see, like, just to we've had a temporary space up there. For me, it's like experimenting and trying things out. And it's about a 37 by 21, so that space, but like it's a steep roof, so I can't get all the way to the sides. And here's just an image of it. I'm laying on the hammock most of the way across the yard, part of the way across the yard, and you can see Alote's ears, and her house is in the background. So I'll make it bigger so you can see the house. So it's the upstairs where I'd be. Sorry, the reflection, this is hard to work with. But yeah, so it's the upstairs where I'd be. I know it's hard to see. You can't see like some of the adorable features of the house on here, but oh goodness, yeah, we both just like feel the nervous anticipation and excitement, and it's less physical space I'm worried about, and it's more like energetic space and sound space, and so definitely a space thing that it's magical where we live. It's just amazing where we live. And there's my cabin, which we will not rent out for a little bit just to check. Sort of like the idea is to temporarily move some things over. And then also there's a garage that's partially finished. So like just options, like even if we rent this out and I need more space, like I can move into the garage. Like we just feel like there's just options, but still. Yeah. All right. Shift Witch, you have something else to share.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I definitely understand the energetic space thing. I was an only child growing up, and so I didn't have to share anything. And so when, I did have roommates in college and whatnot, but that's much different than when you move in with a partner, because you don't just have all of this separation of like, this is your half of the dorm room and this is my half, and stay off my half. Like you're actually together then. So yeah, but it's so pretty. I can't take it. Oh,
Just holding up other, yeah.
oh my gosh, I love it.
Sorry. Oh,
But when it's the energy of somebody you love, what you'll find is that it just intermingles so beautifully that it won't bother you, but that you also will both have respect for the fact that you want your own time and space as well. Because so I've been married for 19 years now, but we still both have like all those spaces, but we both have our own room and everywhere we've ever been. And we, our hobbies or whatever things are in those rooms.
that's
And
great.
it's not that we're trying to stay separate, it's that we also understand that we're individual human beings as well as a fantastic couple.
Mhm.
So, that's just advice from me.
Oh, that's
Is,
great.
it's okay. You can be both. You can be an individual person and part of a couple. And I think too many people think, well, when you meld that far, you lose your individuality. Oh gosh, no. Mm-mm.
That's great. And
So
here,
yeah,
just
just
this is
remember
the
that.
back, but so you have an idea of where I am now. I'm in this little cabin now. Just on the back. It's kind of, but yeah, it's just great that I'm here. Okay, I can't. Other photos. Well, thank you everyone for your answers. I'm like, oh, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, so that's what will be happening over the next few weeks, and so these events will be happening from a different spot. Thank you. Yeah, people are sharing. Thank you so much. Oh, all right. Well, let's just double check. Any other questions for tonight before we finish?
There was a quick question in the chat from Craig just asking if there can be fairies around him as a result of being in this meeting.
Only if you're open to it. And chances are you are, because you're asking. And that opens up your energy space, because that opens up your heart chakra to them. So yes.
Right, and your willingness to notice them. Do you want to notice? Do you want to let them share their presence with you? Do you want them to share it playfully? You have choices in all this. Yeah, go ahead. Any of you that want to jump in and share about that, go ahead. All right, great. Well, let's see. Let's go ahead maybe, and we'll end a little early tonight. I will put the link again in the chat for donating to our interpreters or getting entered into a drawing for a free 30-minute session with one of us of your choice. And I'll put all the practitioners' information in the chat again too. And practitioners, let's just go around and share again about who you are, your modalities, and how people can connect with you online. Who wants to go?
I'll go.
Okay.
So thank you all for coming, first of all, tonight. Thank you to Sharon for doing so much work, interpreting all of our crazy explanations and everything that we've done tonight. I offer compassionate coaching, energetic movement, and empowered healing to help you fall and stay in love with who you are and to open you up to your path. I forgot to mention my special for tonight. I am offering 30-minute moon card readings for $30, which is 30% off. So I just went with all 30s so it's easy to remember. You can find me at theshiftwitch.com. My website's working again, Laureli, yay. And my email is theshiftwitch@gmail.com. I'm also on Instagram. And all you'll have to do if you would like to get that reading is just mention that you are here. So I hope you all have a very blessed Beltane. I hope you find a way to celebrate that works for you. And if you want to share with me how you celebrate it, that would be fantastic. I would so love that if you contacted me and let me know how you celebrate. So thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Shift Witch. All right. And I'm sorry, I'm not fully paying attention. Is it really clear to everybody what your website is and how to reach out to you for the video? Did you say
I
it?
did post it in the chat again too. So
No,
it's
just make sure you say it.
theshiftwitch.com.
Okay, the Shift Witch.
Okay, yeah. So it's www.theshiftwitch.com. So
Okay,
TheShiftWitch.com.
great. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Who wants to go next? The River Witch Fairy. Do you want to jump in?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks so much for being here and joining with us. I really enjoyed the discussion. I am Rina-fay, the River Witch Fairy, and I am everywhere. So you can find me, the River Witch Fairy, on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And the River Witch Fairy on any of those sites. Always make sure you spell fairy F-A-E-R-Y. And I am offering tonight in honor of Beltane fairy readings at $33. And so, yeah, so you can find me again on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube if you want to catch my fairy adventures. And if you're interested in a fairy reading, please email me at rinafay89@gmail, or you can get a hold of me on social media as well. And yeah, so thanks so much. And I'm actually spent because I'm in the Northeast, so it's 11 o'clock and I am going to go to fairy slumber. Have a great night, everyone.
It's great. Thank you so much. All right, Thorne, you are next.
Hello. So I'm Thorne. Hi, you guys. And so I'm Thorne. And so I do magical ASL readings. I live in Portland, Oregon, near the coast. And so I have different modalities. I work with tarot cards. I work with the runes. I do energy healing. And I also work with the fairies. And so they guide me. And so all of these different things, so different paths that I do. And so you can find me on Instagram. So at heartofoak8.com, you can get a hold of me there. So my email is heartofoak8 as well at gmail.com. And my website is www.spiritoracle.com. And so there you have it. And so my text isn't working right now, so it's probably best to email me if you wanted to contact me. So anyway, yeah. So I'm looking, have a really good night. I really enjoyed working with you tonight, and have a really magical weekend. See you guys again soon. And so I really, and thank you for the interpreter, appreciating the interpreter. And so, all right.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sharon.
Love everyone.
And I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader and a body psychology coach. I read your eyes, read your soul to answer questions about your life, your work, your relationships, help you choose work that's a great fit for you, help you choose people to be in relationship that are a great match for you, that help you express your soul, express your purpose. You can learn more about me online at LaureliShimayo.com. That's spelled LaureliShimayo.com. There's information on my coaching websites and my intuitive eye readings and all these MeWe events that I run. And you can learn about all these MeWe fairs at mewefairs.com, MEWEFAIRS.com. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. As we're moving into summer and people are all over, it's great. We still come back together and play together and empower each other as we grow and embody spirit through us on this plane. So yes, happy Beltane and magical weekend to everyone. We've got more events coming up too, so you know what's coming. We've got tomorrow, we have a panel on career, jobs, education, and life purpose that starts at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. Saturday, May 1 at 4 p.m. we have a practice circle for opening to your intuition. We have 3 practitioners that will be sharing different exercises, giving you opportunities to practice doing reading and healing. On Sunday, May 2, this weekend, we have one of our fairs with about 14 practitioners from 5 to 9 p.m. Pacific time. And then coming up in the middle of the week, next week, May 6th, so just a week from tonight, we have our first training panel. This is an opportunity for people that beginning practitioners that feel like they're not quite ready to leap onto a panel or be in a fair. There are going to be a couple of us practitioners that help hold space for you, help get you ready, and then stay there with you during the panel. It's a shorter panel and it's only half price to ask questions of this training panel. And we'll be there to help them ground after the experience. This is a great opportunity to support newer practitioners and get advice from newer practitioners, supported by those of us that have more experience. Just examples of all the things coming up. We've got another mediumship panel, more practice circles, just all kinds of things happening. All right. Well, thanks so much, everyone, for being here, for all of us holding the space together, and practitioners for being on the panel together. It's been great being with you again. And yeah, as we all shift into Beltane energy. All right.
Thank you, Laureli, for hosting this. This is wonderful. Thank you so much.
So thanks so much, everyone, for being here together.
Blessed